What up, everybody? Now, I hope you're enjoying your week, but let's reiterate this Saturday, July 26th, at the Humble Civic Center, Reality of Wrestling proudly presents its very first iPay-per-view, Summer of Champions. We've covered it. If you go to realitywrestling.com, you will see all the guests, all the special guests that will be making an appearance. It's a very special and a historic night for Reality Wrestling. I'm just happy to be a part of it. And if you're in the area, please come out to the show. You won't be disappointed. You'll be immensely entertained. Now, if you're not in the area or can't make the show for whatever reason, you go to realitywrestling.com, Sunday, July 27th, 7 p.m. or 8 p.m., depending on your time zone. And you can order it for $4.99. Yes, that's correct, $4.99. So please support the product. Reality Wrestling, the flagship of Texas wrestling, doing big things. Yeah. So now on to the main topic of this video. I had the wonderful privilege of getting to interview the face, he does it, it's like voguing, of Reality of Wrestling, the resident politician, a wrestling politician. Man, so we can go so many places there. But I'm speaking about Abel Andrew Jackson. Vote early, vote often, vote Abel. But seriously, I had loads of fun sitting down with this guy who's very candid, very poignant, very insightful. Me and Abel have known each other for a number of years. Have immense respect for him as a performer and as a person, but I didn't know very much about him going into the conversation. And that's the thing about having the conversations, is getting to sit down and talk to these guys and gals, people within the industry, people that report on the industry. I plan on doing a lot of interviews with a lot of different people. I got to film a conversation with Sergey Volkov. I know him as Rex Andrews, Sergey Volkov. That'll be coming out next week. I'll be sitting down with Jason Sullivan, talking to him. He's got his last match in Texas coming up on August 30th, and I thought, man, I needed to really sit down with him, another guy that I really have loads of fun talking the business with. So be on the lookout for that. I'll be filming that fairly shortly. Now, I had the video, and and it was a great video with Abel. Great conversation, like I said. But unfortunately, I failed to transfer the footage from my camera to my computer. I thought I had, and then I erased it. And I was talking about bonehead stuff. But luckily, what I've been doing is backing it up on my phone, my Galaxy 5. Definitely not a plug for them, but I like their voice recorder option, and it was fairly clear. It was a little jumpy at the very beginning, but the audio was pretty clear, so I decided, why not just put that out and just kind of be a podcast. But don't worry, you're going to get to see Abel's smiley face throughout. So all the female fans of Abel's, don't fret, you'll get to see him. But honestly, I had loads of fun having this conversation with him. And again, I learned quite a bit about him, and I really am enjoying doing these. Also, once I get more information about the roast of Steve DeMarco, I will let you know. I've got to film some stuff for that actually later on. But without further ado, I give to you my conversation with the face of Reality Wrestling, otherwise known as Abel Andrew Jackson. Until the next time, later! What's up, sir?
How's it going?
So, Abel, Nico, how do we...
We're
going to close with Abel now.
Yeah.
When we were going to get into Nico and Voodoo,
we're going to go back.
We're going way back in time. Now, I heard, and I didn't know this, you're a second generation wrestler.
Yeah, my dad wrestled like way before I was born.
Okay.
Like, my dad could have been my grandfather.
Oh, wow.
He was like almost 60 when I was born.
Wow.
And
Sounds like we're okay.
Yeah, man, he was amazing, man. I mean, he didn't look it at all. Really? He passed at like 88, and he looked like he was in his 60s. Wow. He was like 6'4", 300 pounds. I don't know what happened to him. Oh, man. Damn. I'm like, I don't know what happened. I'm going to keep the comment that I'm thinking. But, yeah, I just looked like a smaller version of him. And, really? He wrestled like in Oklahoma, you know, all the circuits back then.
Did he know you wanted to get into wrestling? Did he try to talk you out of it?
Well, he always brought me and my brothers to wrestling. We always watched it religiously on TV. And I never thought about it. I never thought about getting into wrestling. I always thought that I was too small and just...
You saw your dad, you were like, well, man, I'm nowhere near your size, so why would I...
Well, I mean, being honest, when I looked at the WWE and all of that, I really thought I was too small and too short, too black.
Yeah.
It's not a black man's sport.
Yeah.
Initially. I mean, it has been making great changes and everything because the world has evolved. It has evolved and everything. And I'm not saying that it was set up that way. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying from what I saw and just... you know, subconsciously my perception of it. Yeah. And so when I woke up one day, I was praying for like 2 years. Mm-hmm. Like, God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I can't keep doing what I'm doing. Yeah. And because, I mean, my job is, Yeah. And, but I know that it has a time limit. Yeah. And I was like, I can't keep doing what I'm doing. But I know it was made for something in entertainment. Yeah. And it just one day I woke up and said, I literally sit up and said, I want to be a wrestler. Mm. And then I laid back down. I was like, nah, I can't do it. I gave like every excuse in the world. And then one day I was watching SmackDown, me, my mom, my ex, and my dad. And because I talked to them about it. Yeah. And every excuse I gave them, Michael Cole came on TV and said the exact same thing verbatim. Yeah. And we all kind of looked at each other in awe, and that started my journey. It started my road right there.
Wow. So you started at TASW, Bob Murphy.
Big Bob Hernandez. Murphy. Yep, Hernandez.
What was the training like?
When I first got there, oh man, the training was very intense. Mm-hmm. What a lot of people now would probably call hazing. I don't know, but it just
was a different time back then.
Yeah, it was a different time. It just you had to want it to get in. I remember my first initial day. We had like maybe 20 something students, and like everybody lined up and chopped me. Oof. You know, they welcome.
Yeah, I would hear about the TASW, like the chopping at the gauntlet of chops at the end of like they just wanted to see if you. I mean, that went for everybody. That was
We literally had a guy call the police.
Really?
Yeah, we had a guy call the police on us and said that we brutalized him and all this other stuff. It was funny. I mean, with me, I just took it as I was being welcomed into a brotherhood. Yeah. You know, I was never misused or mistreated. Mm-hmm. The wrestling business has been very good to me. Yeah. With the exception of me not getting my contract yet.
Oh, which we will.
But anyway,
we will cover that.
Besides that, it's been good to me. I'm living out a dream that I never thought was possible.
Yeah. So you started off as Voodoo, the Executioner. That was like your first. Was that given to you, or was that something you were doing, like something you had in mind?
Something I had in mind. I took, and I'm initially from Louisiana. Yeah. So I thought Voodoo, like I looked at Blade. Mm-hmm. I love Blade. It's one of my favorite characters. Mm-hmm. And The Crow. Yeah. And I kind of mixed those with a little Papa Shango. Okay. all of that, and that's how I kind of came up with voodoo.
Cool.
You know, something just different. Like I used to perch on the top of the ropes.
Okay.
Before the bell rang. That
was your kind of scoping out your opponent and psyching them out or whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's how voodoo was created. Mm-hmm. And I love voodoo. It was me finding myself. I do believe, though, that you need a good trainer. Mm-hmm. Somebody who can guide you in the right way. Yeah. Because even though voodoo was good to me and I loved it, I shouldn't have been doing voodoo.
Well, there is that thing, like, one of the benefits of, like, starting out on the indies a lot of times, outside of some promotions, like, I was the same way. They kind of gave me, what do you want to be? Mm-hmm. And then, of course, I was like, I want to be Steve DeMarco. And they were like, oh, you want to be like Don Juan DeMarco? I was like, yeah, kind of. But not with the Masters, but they were going to talk me into that. Yeah. But I was like, no, I want to kind of update it and see what But that is kind of one of the benefits, and also kind of one of the detractions, I guess, is that, we're breaking in. We're not really sure. We're all just trying to figure out what's going to work. We're all influenced by what we see. And we go, oh, man, that would be a cool idea. And it might be a cool idea. It might not be. But how long had you been wrestling before you came to books?
I started. I trained for like 3 months before they threw me in the ring.
Okay.
And maybe 2 years.
2 years. Because I know you were voodoo for a little while. Yeah. And then when you came to books, you became Nico.
What happened was the WWE did I don't know if it was nationwide or global wide search. Mm-hmm. And they were looking for a new talent. They only chose like 12 people, mm-hmm. and I was one of the 12. And Booker had just opened his school. Yeah. And they held the tryouts there. Okay. And I went there, and I told them my name and everything, and they were just like, okay, blah, 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 blah. So I did the tryout and everything. And one thing that I can't mention, always introduce yourself, be confident, be polite, be assertive to every single person. Okay. Because you never know who you're talking to.
That's true.
Because
that's true.
I met everybody there, and there's this guy walking around in the suit. I didn't know exactly who he was or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I was like, forget, I'm going to introduce myself to everybody. Yeah. And it turned out to be Joan Laurinaitis. Okay. And
unless you knew, unless you really knew, and even back, if you had seen him in a suit, it kind of, this guy. Some suit.
And that's when you say, hey, we like you, kid. And, we're going to send you up to OVW. And that's how everything started. I wound up going up there, and they just changed my name up there.
Okay.
I had to do a TV show with them, and they just called me out as Nico. Okay. And I was like, Okay. And it just kind of stuck. Yeah. When I went back, they sent me back to books, and he just called me that over there, and it just kind of stuck. Yeah, I was like, my name is Voodoo. Okay, yeah, we're going to call you Nico.
All right. Okay. All right. So at PWA, you held every time?
Every time.
And who'd you tag up with? I know you tagged up with Franco for a bit.
Yes. Brett.
And anyone else? Did you tag with anybody else?
I actually tagged with Gustavo Mendoza.
Okay. Yeah, I think Ryan had told me about that. Ryan and Rubio won the tag belts. Yeah. But they were feuding in essence with you guys.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. That was pretty fun.
That was pretty fun.
Everybody I tagged with was fun. Yeah. Everybody I tagged with. And they were fun in different ways. Mm-hmm. With Gustavo, it was more methodical and fun in an exciting way. With Franco and Brett, it was just crazy, man. Those guys, I love those guys to death. But they're extremely cocky. But it worked for our tag team. That's what we were trying to do. You know, me and Franco were effing perfection.
Okay. Oh yeah.
You know, and me and Brett, we just did a tag, and I don't really even know if we're completely out of it or whatever, but we were called the Magic Men.
Ah, okay.
From the movie.
From the movie. Nice, nice.
and they loved it. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of people were like, when we went, and that's when I was at CCW. Yeah. A lot of people were wondering like if it wasn't going to work or whatever, and it went over huge. Okay. Nice. You know, and I think personally, anything can get over given the right people, right timing, right setup. Yeah. I think you can, and it's been proven. Yeah. Anything can get over. That's true. That's true. If you put your heart into it and your mind is right, and the people that are with you, like the promoters or whatever, whoever is setting it up, is right. Mm-hmm. I think you can get anything over. Cool. So now you did mention the contract, lack of getting a contract, but I want to, because you were, I mean, of all the guys, and I've asked Ryan, I've asked Robbie, and there's always kind of that. They know there's something they have to work on. Now, I'll sit here and say, man, as far as like look goes, ability on a microphone, even early on, man, I could tell that you had something. I mean, there wasn't a way that the company would look at you and go, no. There wasn't outright. I mean, even with me when I've done trials, I'm not exactly where I need to be. And I could look back and go, man, if I had just shredded a little bit more, started that dive an extra week, or, like you look at Ryan and Robbie, like they know it's a body thing. Mm-hmm. It's the look. But with you, it's like you're relatively close. So honestly, how frustrating is it for you? I mean, not now. I mean, obviously you probably made peace with it, but at the same time, I mean, you got, because I'd see you on TNA TV here and there, or like WWE, it's like, man, he's so close. Like how is it for you? Like what is it that they tell you? Is it a situation where you're constantly having to change, you're like having to be on your toes, or is it like just keep doing what you're doing, and it's not really like okay, well, if I'm ready for a contract, why don't you just give me a contract? That's exactly what it was. Like I could take. Hey, you need to work on this, and that. Like, oh, well, grow your hair out. Let's see what you know. Yeah. If it was something minute, because like my Eddie Craven, a good friend of mine, we'd always have conversations, and he was a guy that would go there, and they would tell him, "Oh man, get bigger." Then he would get bigger, and they'd be like, "Man, you're looking a little too big." Or they'd be like, "Go ahead and like get more tan." Then he would get super tan. Well, you're a little too tan, like. That, I'm sure that was frustrating. That would be frustrating. But for you, it was never oh man, well, if you were, I exaggerate, like 5 pounds heavier, we would take you. Or if you were a couple of inches taller, it was more like, no, you're there. Just keep doing what you're doing. Is that how it was? That's exactly what it was. Keep doing what you're doing. We like everything about you. We just have to find a spot for you. Oh. You have a very good look, which is a plus and a negative. They say, so therefore, your look, we can't just use you anywhere because people will remember you. Yeah. So we have to find something very specific for you. We have to find something for you. Once we find something for you, then we'll call you. We'll get you there. Or if you can come up with something that's really good, then we can use you. Yeah. And they gave me an example of MVP. They was like, you're in the same boat MVP was in. They say, we would tell him the same thing. We like you. We want to hire you. I've heard that. But we have no place for you. They said, if we can find something, you're in. If we can't find something and you can find something, then bring it to us. And the MVP, I talked to him about it, and he actually told me that he came up with his gimmick. Yeah. Well, Johnny Ace actually told me that MVP came up with his own gimmick. Like he'd film his own stuff. Like he had, this is the MVP character, do something with it. And he brought it to them. They loved it, and that's how he got hired. And actually, one time they had brought me up, and I was doing like a tour with them. And I toured Texas and Oklahoma. And MVP literally had like a 20-minute or 30-minute talk with John Laurinaitis about me getting a job. I had no idea.
Wow.
MVP never said anything to me. That guy is awesome.
Yeah.
He took, and John Laurinaitis came and called me over and pulled me to the side and started talking to me. He was like, do you know, MVP just had a long talk with me about giving you a job. And he was like, you know, they say it's a lot. And I'm like, yeah. You know, and I'm thinking to myself, are you freaking kidding me? You know, it's really cool that, you know, this guy, you know, did this for me.
Yeah.
He was like, you know, you remind me a lot about him. And that's when he told me the story of MVP found everything. And he was like, I want to give you a job. I want to hire you. It's just that we don't have anything. And if we could get, and he told me this, he said, if I could just have one guy walk up to me and say, I'll hire you right now. Oh. And I think it was kind of in the window inside thing that I didn't get at that moment.
Yeah.
That I don't know if I was hated on by somebody or something.
Because you never know. I mean, because everybody's like, I think, and ultimately, I've never been over there. I've had trials and that, but I've never been that close where there could be. It depends on the guy, man. It depends on some guy just looking at you and being like, fuck, he's a threat. And it could be anybody, you know?
I heard when I first went down there, to the OVW thing, to the OVW camp. Al Snow and Danny Davis did my evaluation. And Tommy Dreamer was trying to get me hired.
Yeah.
And Al Snow.
Okay.
Both of them told me they were working on getting me hired before I even went there, before I even got my tryout. And when I got picked as one of the 12, Tommy Dreamer said he was one of the guys who got me picked as one of the 12. So when I got down there, Tommy Dreamer just went back to ECW and left from being head of talent relations. And Nova had took over. So I didn't know him, so I was like, crap, man.
Yeah, you just got to rebuild another relationship with another...
I had sprained one of my fingers. I jammed one of my fingers the night before I flew up there, and I closed another one in my garage door.
Oh.
So my hand was jacked up.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything. They saw it wrapped up. I went through everything. And I think that kind of helped me a little bit, that they knew it was kind of jacked up, and I didn't, nothing. And at the end of my evaluations, I'm getting ready to fly home. Danny Davis and Al Snow put me to the side and say, blah, 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 blah. Do you want to know what your evaluation is? I was like, yeah, it's like, because they're going to call you and talk to you about it. They said that after the week and everything that we did, they say, we definitely recommend you being hired. You'll be a marketable WWE superstar.
Wow.
And so I was like ecstatic. Nova called me. It's like, hey, man, they gave you a great recommendation. Look like you got it.
Nice.
Go home. Don't wait by the phone. We'll call you in a couple weeks. And look like we'll be flying you out, blah, 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 blah. So everything went good. I go home. I'm happy, And I get the phone call, and it's like, hey, not right now.
Oh,
something happened. They signed a lot of people, so we're going to have you wait for a little bit. But go to Booker's. We call Booker. We set it up. Go to Booker's for a little while, and then we're going to grab you from there.
Okay.
I say about a year down the line, I'm like, what is going on? And somebody say, yeah, man, I heard you got hated on by somebody.
Oh.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
And I'm like, I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
I don't hang out with nobody. I don't run with nobody. I don't offend anybody. You know me. I'm always professional. I'm always friendly.
Yeah, you don't have like there's not a clique. There's not, I've never, and I know there are guys that hate. And a lot of times there are guys that hate. I think with you, it's much like you. It's like you guys are in shape and you look the part, like you're so close. And I think that's the thing. Like with me, I always kind of, and you and I have had good conversations because we're all kind of on the same wavelength or roughly the same thing. I mean, it's kind of that thing, like, we've been doing it a while, you know, and we've seen it. Like, I have heat with guys and not realize it, and years can pass, and I go, I didn't even know I had heat with you. What do I have heat with you over? Yes. You know, so, and it's weird that a multi-million, billion-dollar company would have it, you know, that it's still in that mindset. Because I think, well, you go up there, the zeros are bigger, everyone's getting paid, everyone should be happy. Like, and if somebody gets a spot, well, look at yourself. Don't look at, I mean, they're just going to hire whoever they want to hire. You fit a role, they see you, they go, all right, here you go. But, so when was that, when all that went down?
I found out right after I won the first ever PWA championship.
Wow.
Yeah, because, you know, we had so many guys from WWE coming down.
Yeah, the early yeah, there was constant.
And one of the guys told me that because all the guys were friendly with me.
Yeah.
You know, they would ask me to go hang out. We would go hang out or work out or do something. Everybody was freaking cool. So I'm like, they never told me who it was, though. But somebody up there was like, yeah, don't hire that guy. You know, blah, blah, blah. I don't like him. I think what it was is that they insinuated it was like, make him work for it or make him earn it, or I don't think he really wants it, or some kind of crap like that.
Which is just so odd, you know, like
it's so freaking
odd. Because I think it's not like they just saw you in catering and went like, we just want this guy. It wasn't like that. Like you worked towards it. I
worked towards it, and it's really hard how. And I want to look at the camera and say it's really hard how somebody can play with your life, and it's nothing to them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, do I want to buy this Coke or not?
Yeah.
You know, I don't like that guy, blah, 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 whatever. They are doing whatever they love, whatever they been blessed to have the opportunity to do. And they look at somebody else, maybe because of their, like you say, because of their look. Maybe you didn't shake their hand the right way.
Yeah, I mean, I know back in the day, like I hear stories like, oh, you know, if you were at a bar and someone offered you a drink and you turned it down, but you got to drink it, you got heat. You got heat for rolling your bag in, like not knowing, like maybe it's your first day on the job, no one's privied you to that, but you're supposed to know, or like you put your bag on someone's seat by accident, didn't realize, and it's like you meet, or like you said, you handshake them a certain way, you give them a certain look, you don't realize, you know, because I'm the same way, like I don't want to say I'm oblivious to it, but I know that, you know, I'm just kind of there, you know, sometimes, so, man, that was
and I don't even think it was a handshake thing. I think it was they just looked at me and either felt threatened or, hey, that's the kind of guy I didn't like in school, or maybe my girl might have liked that guy.
Yeah.
Or something stupid.
Yeah.
Like that. I've always looked at it as we're men.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid of any man.
Yeah.
If somebody, do I see people who come in and I feel is somewhat of a threat and somewhat of a way to my position, I don't take that as, oh man, I got to be worried. I'm gonna hate on this guy, whatever. No, I said, okay, this guy is making me get off my butt.
Yeah.
And I can't coast right now.
Yeah.
I need to turn it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
Turn it down for what?
Yeah.
But I need to turn it up, which to me, competition has always been a good thing.
Yeah.
Always. I think it brings out the best in a true competitor.
Yeah.
Not in somebody who's coasting by, somebody who got there by friends and favors, or they just lucked up in the spot. Yeah. Those are the people who, to me, are the I would say the true cowards.
Yeah.
And I don't say that lightly.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to offend anybody, but if the truth offends them,
yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
You know. And basically that has, and then after that, it's just been one thing after another. Yeah. One thing after another. Now, to me, that's what happened, and it's going to sound funny, and I'm going to be really, really quick with this. Yeah, yeah. That's what happened on the physical side. On the spiritual side, I think I was kind of doing my own thing, and God really wanted to get my attention. Mm. And so, therefore, I didn't get it because I wasn't, because I'm a believer in God. I don't want to offend anybody. Yeah. But I believe He wanted to get my attention on a lot of things because I felt I was ready and maybe I wasn't. Yeah. Mentally, spiritually, maybe I wasn't there. Yeah. To be able to handle success at that point in time. Because a lot of times we think we're ready and this and that, and that could be the thing that destroys us. Yeah, yeah. You know, I felt mentally I was stable and everything. I've already been in the limelight, maybe not on that level, but I've dealt with all this. I've made a lot of money. I've traveled the world. I've done all this thing at a young age. And so I was like, you're ready for it. Yeah. And maybe I wasn't in that spiritual sense. Mm. You know what I mean? And I think that was a big thing for me. And I think that's what kind of helped me come to terms with everything. Because I've been TNA. Yeah. Same thing. Yeah. Same thing. Yeah, man, I caught you, I think, like, when the Pope was there. Like, you were, I remember seeing you on the show, and I was like, all right, man, cool. Like, anytime a guy gets there, I'm not one of those, I'm just happy. I'm happy. Because it's just one more guy that I interacted with at one point that got there. And it's like, cool, man, sweet. At least there, I think, and I thought, oh, man, maybe he's going to get signed. Maybe he's going to get signed there and then transition. Mm-hmm. You know, they even told me that, which was crazy. I've met so many people, man. Terry Taylor, that talked to me a lot. He wanted to sign me to TNA. And it's just like everybody that I talk to, like another guy loved Jamie Noble. Mm-hmm. He's tried multiple times to get me signed. And, you know, he would deal with the tryouts and all that. And, but it was like a lot of the times the guys that they never just tried to put me out because they couldn't find them. So they wanted to put me in a faction. Yeah. You know, and the guys kept getting heat. So they would never get that big push to get their faction. And I'm like, so it was just always one thing after another. And I'm not saying that it was the guy's fault who were getting heat. Yeah, because they're in the same boat. You never know. The powers that be. Yeah, yeah. The powers that be. You know, Pope, from what I know of him, great guy. Yeah. MVP, great guy. And there was a couple other people. And so it was just always something. They looked at making me suicide at TNA one time. Yeah. Wow. They were kind of wondering if I might have been at that point in time too big for suicide. But just think back when you were a kid going, man, I'd never do that because I'm too small. And then it's like, you're too big to do this. You're kind of too big to do that. But it was pretty cool. I've done a lot of things, and I've come to terms with the fact that I wasn't ready then. Mm-hmm. And I believe that I'm more ready now than ever. A lot of people look and say, oh, man, you know, once you pass 30, you might not keep looking at getting higher. Yeah. I look at it as the sense of, and not all of this goes together. Right before I became Abel. Yeah, I wanted to ask you. I want to ask you about. Okay, right before I became that, I went into a funk. Mm-hmm. And Kevin will tell you about it. Was it? Yeah, I was at the last film study, and it was kind of alluded to, and I was like, all right. I went into a funk, and I would come the week of the show, and I may get in the ring, just get some rust off. Yeah. And I was just going through the motions. I was ready to quit. Mm-hmm. But I just couldn't let go. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. I wanted to quit because I just went up. I did this tryout, and Johnny Ace had did at up in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. He did me and Brett was supposed to go. Me and Brett Barnes, we were supposed to go. Yeah. And I wound up going by myself. He did this thing, and I went up there, and I wrestled on their TV out there and everything. And he was like, "Hey, what are you doing tomorrow?" This was a Sunday night. Yeah. And I'm like, going home. Yeah. He's like, "I want you to fly to Charlotte. I want you to come." No, he said, "I want you to come to Charlotte. Mm-hmm. I want to get you on Raw. I want to get you another look at because you did pretty good today." So I was like, "Okay, great." I'm excited.
You're like, again.
Mind you, I had to change my flight. Mm-hmm. So I had to buy another flight, rent a car, and all this other stuff.
Just to get all the hoops you had to do.
Yeah, it's like $500, $500, $600 that I didn't have.
But you're like, crap, this could be it. Right?
And get a hotel.
Okay. No, yeah. All the things.
Yeah. So, and I don't like staying in cheap hotels. So it's all that sucked. And so I went, and I didn't even get a chance to get in the ring.
Oh man! Yeah.
Because something went wrong, and they had to stop and all this, and they pulled everybody out. So I'm waiting around, trying to catch him. Yeah. I waited around about 10 o'clock that night. Mm. Finally catches him. And I was like, "Hey, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Hey, why didn't you get in the ring?" I said, "Well," he's like, "Why didn't you get in the ring? I wanted to show you off to everybody so I could, blah, blah, blah." I said, "Well, you remember what happened? They stopped everything, and they said nobody in the ring because you guys had to go do this big meeting because of whatever happened. I don't remember." Yeah. And he was like, "Well, you should have just jumped in the ring and did it." And he said, "Because, when you want a chance, you have to take it." And I said, "I completely agree with you. But with Vince McMahon there, Hunter there, mm-hmm. Sean, all these people, this thing happened. Time to go. Y'all had to go right there. If I would have jumped in that ring, it's a possibility I could have gotten a job." And that's very true. Mm-hmm. I do take that. Mm-hmm. But then it's a very strong possibility I would have gotten major heat and thrown out and never got the opportunity to come here. Yeah. He was like, "Well, you should have took the chance." I'm like, it's easy for you to say that.
That's true. You got
it's easy for you to say that. Yeah. He said, "Well, I took the chance." I said, "I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything. Yes, you did, but your brother helped you get here."
Yeah.
You told me this yourself. Yeah. So it's, I'm like, you see, I'm here. I want this. You know what I mean? I'll do whatever it takes. And I've been here. I've been coming back. I have not given up. I have done everything. And I just went into a funk. I went home. He was like, "Well, blah, blah, blah. Send me some stuff, whatever." And
kind of same old.
Yeah, and I don't blame him at all. Yeah. I don't blame him at all. I think he liked me. Mm-hmm. I really believe that he wanted to give me an opportunity. So it's nothing ill will towards him or saying anything bad about him. I'm just saying the situation. Yeah. Because Booker told me not too long ago that he did ask about me. Okay. So, I always liked him. Yeah. Even though he didn't give me a job, I've always liked him. He's always been straightforward with me. And I have the utmost respect for him. Mm-hmm. But I went into that funk, and
how long did the funk last?
A year.
Really? Okay.
That was a long year.
Yeah.
Very long. I had left my job from working at this one spot. So it was like me and my ex broke up. Mm-hmm. Everything. It was just like my world was just crumbling.
Yeah.
And I was just going through the motions. Mm-hmm. I was just going through the motions. And then one day, a voice came to me and said, it don't matter what they want.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter if they want you, if they don't want you. It don't matter who believes in you, who don't believe in you.
Mm-hmm.
This is your dream.
Yeah.
You want this.
Yeah.
So you get up there and you get it.
Mm-hmm.
You find a way. They've been telling you, don't change. Nico is a character in himself.
Mm-hmm.
You attract attention. You do this, but if it ain't been working, change it.
Yeah.
Change it.
Yeah.
You feel there's a lot of politics in wrestling. Attack politics, and that's kind of where it started.
Yeah, because I was curious about the transition to Abel, Andrew Jackson, because you were Nico for, like you said, a long time, and it was working. Like everywhere you went, very popular everywhere. And your look was pretty a signature look. You had the dreads, and not dreads. You had the hair with the
braids, beads.
The beads. I remember the beads.
All white.
Yeah, man. The jacket, all that. So, and I heard it was like Charles Rice and MVP who kind of helped you.
Yeah, they helped me.
Like as far as like the name, or what was the? How did it all come about? Now you have this voice in your head, and you're like, politics, which is, it's an awesome character. We all know about politics and wrestling, and I've always thought, man, a wrestling politician would be awesome because it's not done. It's not done. There's no one who really tried. It was really tried. I take that back. I think Robert Evans at PCW at one point tried something like that. He was already a character who was politicking to get further along up their ladder. But yeah, the Abel Andrew Jackson. How does that all come about?
Well, like at that point in time, I didn't know about any like Rob Evans. Well, I love that guy.
Yeah.
It's some other guy that I recently heard about. It said he was like the first black president of wrestling or whatever, and also Abraham Washington that was in NXT.
Yeah.
I had no idea about these guys. But in essence, my character is completely different from them.
Yeah.
They are saying that they're presidents. I'm not a president.
Yeah.
I'm a politician.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a man of the people, for the people, by the people.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that my character is kind of a double entendre. It's a wrestling politician that's taking politics out of wrestling.
Yeah.
I believe there's so many politics in wrestling, like what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Knowing the right person at the right time in the right place, knowing how to rub shoulders in the right way. Not knowing
all the unspoken stuff. You get heat. It's unspoken. You don't even know you get it. You don't, and you don't hear it from the person you have heat with. It's always
It's so many politics.
Yeah.
So I said I wanted to do that. MVP. I talked to MVP a lot at that point in time, and he helped me come up with the name.
Mm-hmm.
Abel Andrew Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
He helped me come up with the name, and Charles Rice kind of helped me confirm it, but then also kind of helped me put together somewhat how you would look.
Yeah.
With okay, you need to cut your hair. In the beginning you can start off with the braids or whatever, but you need to cut your hair eventually. You need to do the suit thing and this and that. And we were coming up like initially he's taking a life of his own because where he's at right now is not where I wanted him to be.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I would hear people say stuff like that about characters like Dragon Ball Z. I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z fan. Like Akira Toriyama said that he didn't want Goku to evolve to where he was at. But he took a life of his own and kind of became where he's at. And I initially wanted him to be this guy that talked in a certain way and kind of Obama style talk, I was thinking, or maybe a preacher, black preacher, maybe Jesse Jackson, Martin Luther King style type thing. And very positive, but soon as I think the camera's off, very ghetto, very hood, very, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was the initial thing. And when it came and it was like, okay, well, he has to be healed.
Yeah.
I didn't really know how to be a heel. I'm just starting to figure out.
No, yeah, because I mean, you're one of those guys that gets cheered all over the place. I mean, you and I have had matches where I am the de facto heroic face, and you'll come out and it's, oh, we like this guy better, and that's it. But we still try to play with it. But yeah, you're one of those guys, and I ran into it too certain times, like where my personality won't allow the fans to boo me. Like, even if I'm doing heelish, like, I could tell them to shut up or go after, and they're still like, we love you. And I'm like, no, you're supposed to hate me. And you run into the same problem. But yeah, okay, so they tell you to be heel, and you're just like,
I don't know how to be a heel. I mean, because I think the best heels are heels in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a natural heel.
Yeah.
I'm just
like
not.
you said, you're always cool with everybody.
Yeah. And so I'm learning how to be a heel now, and it's been a journey.
Yeah.
Of creating this person.
Yeah.
And when I did it, it was just, how do I make this guy a heel? Mm-hmm. How do I create this guy and everything? And then one day, when everything changed for me, because he was okay and people were looking at him, but it was still kind of a little roller coaster ride. One day we were doing the first episode for the TV show, for the Cube, for ROW, and we were taping, and we had to be in the ring. And Booker was there, and everything was like, we couldn't move because you know how the ring is when you're taping, it bounces too much. So Booker was like, okay, I need you to walk into the camera without making a bump. So I did the little slide thing in and out, and they liked it. And Booker was like,
remember that.
Do you remember that?
The sliding out, and I ended up just going, huh? And you just like, oh my God, that's awesome.
And that came from me trying to not make the ring bounce. And Booker was like, I want you to be over the top and this and that. So I was like, let me mess with Book.
Yeah.
And cause one thing I've always liked about Book, he could tell a story with his eyes.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, and it's one thing if I remember anything about him, I remember his eyes and his facial expressions on a lot of things that he done. And so I was like, let me mess with Book. I'm going to have fun with this. I'm going to do the Book eyes and everything. And then from that, when I started doing that, we did a couple takes because of, I didn't mess up. Okay.
There was more than just you.
Yeah, it was just more than you.
Because I think I asked Kevin and Justin about. I was like, so how did the shoot go? And they're like, oh my God, it's just so many takes. But it was yeah. So
what happened was I just started having fun, and Book was like, yeah, I like that. So I'm like, I'm gonna talk like Book.
Yeah.
With Book's in a good mood.
Yeah.
So that was the creation of Abel Andrew Jackson.
Nice.
It literally comes from Book.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever told anybody this, but it literally comes from Booker T.
And it's all, I'll say this, man, it is by far the most entertaining thing on the show. And again, I'm not the only one who says it. There are guys who are like, I was never really a fan of Nico. I was never, I've tried to, and I go, just watch it. Because there are guys who are like, what, Nico's doing the thing? I'm like, buddy, if you watch the show. And they'll watch it and they'll go, well, I can't argue with it. That is why, because you're so animated, like just the little stuff that you do. I mean, the shake it in the club, like when you go off on a rant, or the eyes, like when Politics, I think at one point she's just getting at you, and then they're bringing the camera into you, they're zooming in, and you just have that like deer in headlights look, and I'm like, all the stuff you do, and it's to a point where we just tell other guys like, dude, well, just look at what Abel does, or look at what Ryan does, Ryan in the ring and such. That's cool, man. I never realized that the heel stuff, like you had such an issue with it, man.
Gosh, man, I'm still barely starting to figure it out. Yeah. One thing that I do, Booker told me this a while ago. He told me, I want you to be a heel because I think it'll make you a better worker. Yeah. And it's true. Yeah. You get to see it from a whole nother angle. Mm-hmm. You think, I love being a face. I love the fans. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm used to. But I think being a heel, you really have the paintbrush in your hand. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
You're the lead, man.
You're the lead.
I mean, old school mentality. The heel's the general, man. And a lot of times that was the case. Like the more advanced guys, the more veteran guys, they're the heel because they can, and I've learned, because I've always had to do kind of both, and it depends on the show sometimes. That what I find is what works a lot of times is what kind of face I want to work if I am a heel. Mm-hmm. Like, what do I want them to bring to the table that's going to help me paint this picture? Have the WWE brass seen it? I mean, a lot of people. There are a lot of eyes on the product, and
I don't know if they've seen it. TNA have seen it and actually talked to me about it.
Really?
Yeah, man. And they literally, one of the guys from there literally told me, he was like, man, I think it's the most entertaining thing in Texas. Yeah. And he was like, I see a lot of money.
Because it's so different, you're doing the paid advertisements now, which are actual advertisements for the show.
I know, it's just freaking awesome.
Yeah. And the stuff you were kind
Love you, Kevin, Jason.
Yeah. I gotta ask you, that stuff. I mean, you got politics, which is an awesome name. Now you got Secret Service. Mm-hmm. How is it having to be kind of the ringleader and having so many parts now? Now you literally have a stable. Mm-hmm. How's it for you being that? Because now it's no longer. Now you have to be concerned about everyone else. But whereas before it was even with tag teams, you knew that's another guy, he knows his part. But there's one of the few instances where you lead a stable. How's that been, the transition for you been?
It's been good. The only thing about it is that I would like a little more control. Yeah. Which is one of my biggest problems. One of my biggest problems in wrestling, period. Mm-hmm. I'm too nice. Yeah. I give too much. Yeah. And I want to work with everybody. And one thing I've always heard and I've always been told, you can't make everybody happy. True. Because at the end of the day, nobody will be happy. Yeah. I still want to work with everybody, but I have to become a little bit more selfish.
Yeah, you kind of have to. I think you're at the point where you're one of the lead dogs. I mean, on a roster, you're one of the lead guys of a pretty good roster, but at the same time, you're one of the more dynamic characters. So from a creative standpoint, I always kind of go, it's your opponent's job to define their ways. You're going to be this larger-than-life character, and their job is to kind of take it. You're not supposed to give it to them.
Exactly.
Because, if you look at the Attitude Era, you look at guys like Rock, Austin, you look at Hunter, you look at Book, they weren't giving guys, they may give them that space, take it. If you don't take it, I'm going to take it right back. Because, it is that hard thing of being, you don't want to be selfish. Because you're like, well, man, if I'm selfish, guys are going to get rubbed the wrong way. But at the same time, that's their shot. I look at, when guys face me, depending where I'm at, their job is to rise to my level. I'm at a certain level. I've achieved a certain level of, respect or whatever. So what I tell guys is like, you got to take it because no one's going to believe I'm going to give it to you. And if you come across looking like, and it's a fine art. There's that line of like, okay, I'm going to give it to you, but I'm not going to make people believe I'm giving it to you. And I think that's where you're at right now. And I think, being a heel, like Book says, it will only enhance your game overall. Because if maybe that might have been the thing back in the day, like, man, he's such a good baby face. But could he be a heel? And I think sometimes it's there's like if they were telling you come up with a character like the Abel Andrew Jackson thing. I think it's gold. I mean, you're one of those guys. Like we go, you just got to watch his segments, regardless. I mean, just watch him because it is a very character driven. It's a character, but it's very character driven. What you do in the ring is very character intensive. You're now one of those guys where it's like you don't have to do a whole lot. You get a lot of live in-ring stuff. You get to face a lot of the guys you got to face Shelton, which
awesome.
That guy, and what you told me was you guys didn't actually have a plan in the back. It was like, let's go out there. We're just going to kind of see where. I mean, you knew how much time you had, but it was,
and that's what. You have a piece of me. I just saw that. It's funny. I know it's completely outside. I'm like, we've been here all this time and I couldn't see. All right. Anyway, Shelton, work at Shelton was amazing. I mean, he comes down to the school a lot, and it was a big honor and a privilege to be in the ring with him. And I went over to him and I was like, hey, is there any? He was like, nope, we're not going to do that. I'm like, well, I wasn't going to ask you to talk out a match, maybe. But, I was just going, he was like, no, we're not going to do that. He said, we're going to get in there and we're going to work the way it should be. We're going to have fun. We're going to beat each other up. And when it's time to go, we're just going to go. Yeah. And so I was like, very excited. Very cool, and that's the way it should be. We know the end game. Yeah. We know the play that we're doing. But get out there, beat each other up, have fun doing it, entertain the fans, and I think that's how you get a really good match. Yeah. That's how you get the fans involved into it. That's how they're not sitting up there, oh, that's fake, that's this, that's that. Because it's not. Yeah. You're actually living the dream. You're actually doing what we grew up watching. Yeah. And he introduced a whole new level to me. I mean, like with Rob Van Dam, when I was in the ring with him, that was another thing. I went over to talk to him, and he was like, hey, everything is good, blah, blah, blah. We just have fun in the ring. Yeah. Just, you'll see it coming. Basically. And I'm like, wow, this is cool. As verse to when I first started, guys writing out matches. And I'm like, this is not what I thought wrestling was. Yeah. And being able to get with these veterans and these guys who are larger than life that I grew up watching. Get me in the ring and show me what it's supposed to be like. Yeah. MVP is another general in the ring. This guy, he'll beat you up and give you a lesson while he's beating you up while you're in the ring, and it's awesome. Yeah. So a lot of guys I face, it's been just. It's great, and the Abel Andrew Jackson character in itself has been growing by leaps and bounds. And like you say, I think I have to make them take it more. Yeah. Where I'm thinking more of the match. I'm thinking, okay, let me do this and let me do that, to where I'll slip on a banana peel. Like I don't like talking about a match. Yeah. Like I like to go out there and I just want to work. Yeah. And like some of the newer guys or some of the guys I work, they'll want to talk to me. I'm like, oh man, just calm down, relax. Let's just get in there, beat each other up. Yeah. Whatever you want to do to me, just do it. Yeah. If you can and if it's the right time. If not, I'm not going to let you do it. Yeah. But I need to be more selfish in the sense of I need to do more. Yeah. I need to not worry about offending somebody as much as I've done. And I'm not saying be a prick, but I just need to be a little bit more selfish. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to my faction and everybody, I'm so worried about the whole. I'm still going to be worried about the whole show. Oh yeah. And about painting the picture. Yeah. But I want to make sure everybody get in their stroke. Yeah. And then it may obscure the picture that I had. Yeah. Yeah. But I'll make it work. Yeah. Instead of, okay, I'm going to paint this. Now I'm going to leave this to you, but it still needs to be painted in this way. Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? Instead of being that way. Yeah, I think you almost, you hate to say presidential, but yeah, just be more presidential. Like, man, this is my show. At the end of the day, you're part of the act, you know? Now, another thing is you're the head trainer at reality wrestling. You're the head guy. I mean, you're the guy. You're the Booker's God, and you're the messenger going. All right, here you go. How is it for you being the head trainer of reality wrestling? Something I never wanted to be. Okay. I wanted to ask you about that. Like, was it something you went, I'll do that, or was it like were you approached and you went, all right, Well, I was approached, and I never wanted to do it. But one thing I've always been taught by my dad, and something that I've always known, and Booker said it and everything, always make yourself available. Mm-hmm. Always be prepared. Always be the first guy to jump in to help and make things better, because you never know where it's going to lead you. Yeah. And the opportunity was presented to me. I was very reluctant of taking it. Mm-hmm. I didn't say it to them, though. Yeah. I was, great. You know what I mean? I was very reluctant of taking it. It is a big responsibility. When I'm over something, I'm very business. Yeah. And I can come off kind of stern. Yeah. You know, and some people may think, which I don't think nobody think that about me now, because I've tried to be more laid back and relaxed. Unfortunately, it hasn't been received very well. Mm-hmm. When I'm more direct, because one thing I've always loved business. Yeah. I've always been good at business and running business, but I'm stern with it. Yeah. And if I come and tell you something to do something, that's the main thing. Yeah. I'm telling you to do it. Yeah. I'm not asking. Yeah. If you're in a position to where I'm able to tell you to do something, or then I'll tell you to do it. And I don't want to have to ask twice. Yeah. Or tell you twice. You know what I mean? Yeah. If it's something I'm asking you to do, completely different. Yeah. You know what I mean? Then you have a say-so in the matter. Mm-hmm. And I can expect, if you don't do it then or something, then we may have to have a exchange or something. But if I'm telling you to do something, like with the guys paying their dues or their, stuff like that. People hogging the ring and doing stuff like that, or just lollygagging around, not being productive, stuff like that. Yeah. I feel we're all grown-ups, we're all adults. Yeah. I don't want to talk to you crazy. Yeah. I don't want to disrespect no man or woman.
Yeah.
I don't want to be disrespected.
Yeah.
Somebody talk to me crazy, I want to put my hands on them. Yeah, I don't care who it is.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel another person would feel the same way.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, I want to be respectable to everybody because I want everybody to respect me.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, some of these people you have to talk to like they're children.
Yeah.
And that's the only way you're going to get any kind of results out of it. And I can understand why some people are the way that they are.
Yeah.
In positions of authority. Because they can't take and just tell a person, hey, this is thing, blah, 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 blah. It's common sense. You know, you have to deal with this. You have to do that.
Yeah.
I don't have to hold your hand.
Yeah, yeah.
But they don't.
Yeah.
You have to come and hold their hand. And you have to guide them. And then they wonder why they're not more advanced than where they should be, or doing what they love, or whatever, or why they're having problems in certain areas. It's because, and I always say this, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, because I myself worked there. It's the reason why certain people work at McDonald's at a certain age.
Yeah.
And they don't work anywhere else.
Yeah.
Now, some people work there because life has been hard.
Yeah.
The struggle is real.
Yeah.
Struggle is real. And they've ran up on bad times. But then you run into those certain people that you say, I want an oatmeal with no fruit. They say, okay. And you get there, it's oatmeal with fruit. And then you say, I just ordered an oatmeal with no fruit. Like 30 seconds ago. You said, okay. And then they look at you crazy. Like, okay.
Yeah.
And it's like, I see why you work here. Do you know what I mean? You don't have the mental capacity to work anywhere else. You know, you can't walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. And I'm not trying to be condescending, but then again, it is very condescending what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it's true. And that's how it is with dealing with certain people at wrestling.
Yeah.
And being in the position of the head trainer. I was very reluctant. I mean, I love it now.
Yeah.
I do. I love it. I do. And I thank you, Booker, Charmel, Kevin, you, everybody, for giving me the opportunity to be the head trainer. And I want to get better at it. And it's helped change me a lot. You know, where I am focused just more on me. I have to focus now on everybody else. It makes me pay attention to more. And it actually shows me, which beats me up sometimes. I'll wrestle and I'll watch a match. And I'm like, man, why did I do that?
Yeah.
And I'll go back and I'll be teaching somebody something. And I'll be like, hold up. I know this. I'm teaching them this. So why did I just do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, it helps me become more of a well-rounded wrestler and person. Period.
Yeah.
Learning how to deal with people, because I'm somewhat antisocial. Even though both of the things that I do in life are very public driven. I'm always around people and I have to interact with people. In my personal life, I'm very antisocial.
Yeah.
I'm the baby boy of 5 boys. And I don't know. I'm most at home when I'm by myself relaxing.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why is because I don't like drama.
No, man, you and me are kind of the same way. Like, I purposely try to stay away from shows. You know, we got the exclusivity thing. I was kind of like, that's a godsend. You know, I'm there at Books doing my backstage stuff, and I really enjoy it. but I'm not there very often, purposely, because it wears on you, whether you want it, like you're there all the time, right? I try to be home, and when I'm home, like, I don't, I might have like wrestling on to watch it or to turn my brain off just to enjoy whatever. But yeah, I mean, I can totally, like, I don't, there was a period where I loved after parties and I loved all that stuff, and it's gotten to a point where I'm like, man, I just much rather be home. There's no drama at home. I can kind of decompress a lot. Like, I hear this a lot. We're roughly the same age here at the. It's a young man's game. It's a young person's sport, and it's not just wrestling. It's all over the place. When I broke in, I waited until I was a grown man because I knew if I had started at 17 or 18, my brain just wouldn't have accepted authority. I would have. I was a grown man by the time I started. I look at it now, and I mean, as I've gone through and I see kids, when I talked to Kevin a couple weeks back, he was like, I started at 14. I'm like, there's no way I would have started. I've had friends who, guys are younger and younger. They get started younger. As a guy who's, we're both at an age. What is it to you? Like, I find it funny when you hear, like, Kevin Garnett, who's 34, 35, they consider him an old man. And I'm going, hey, when I was a kid, you're not an old man. You're kind of in your prime. Like, all the wrestlers I grew up watching, Ric Flair, look at DDP, didn't get started at 35. You look at certain guys like, and now it's kind of, well, after 30, they don't even want to look in your direction. It's more of it's a very youth-driven thing. That's what they're looking for. How do you see it? Is it?
Go ahead.
Well, no, I wonder, like, and at like 17, 18, I couldn't find a wrestling school, even if I had wanted to do that, because I had wanted to do it from being a kid. Even when I was 20, I was in the service and guys would talk about it. It wasn't really until I got settled, because I knew it's an investment. And my school was $2,500. You go to books. It's, when I first got there, it was $3,500. Like, having to have 2 jobs just to, because that wasn't money I had readily available. And the time, like, having the time to do it. What's your take on that? The mentality now of it. And it's not just wrestling. It's all over the place. They don't look at guys who've been there doing it for a while. Like, I even hear now WWE's thing is in the next 5 to 10 years, they won't look on the indies. They won't look. You have to come to them. You have to come to Florida, go to the Performance Center, and then they will churn you out. Like from what I hear, Triple H isn't going to be looking. Once he takes over, it's a factory. Like, I guess it should be. It's developmental. I don't know if it should be, because, I have a lot, I'm never at that big stage, but at the same time, I kind of look back at my career and go, man, well, certain stories I wouldn't have, certain friendships I wouldn't have. And at the same time, if I was 18 and given a 6-figure contract, I'd burn out by 21. I think I'd be like, because you'd have to be in a certain mindset. And I don't know. I don't know.
Well, that's a multi-answer question.
Yeah.
Like I said, my dad could have been like my grandfather or great-grandfather when I was growing up. So I grew up watching the old cowboy movies, the old things. And I grew up on a farm, basically. Chickens, cows, ducks, you name it. Farm. Watching those old cowboy movies and stuff, you wasn't considered a man until you hit 40.
Yeah.
They would still call you a kid.
Yeah.
Today's society, wants you to think once you're past 30, you're getting over the hill.
Yeah.
And they want you basically to die out younger.
Yeah.
It's younger. Really, you only got those 10 years of 20 to 30. And then after that,
they kind of write you off unless you're a A-list Hollywood actor.
Then you're immortal.
Then you become immortal, and that doesn't matter. If you're Brad Pitt, you could be 75 and still, as long as you look in decent enough shape.
Yeah, you can be immortal then.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that to me, I always thought of when you think of wrestling, you think of men.
Yes.
When you think of pro wrestling, you think of men getting in there, battling, doing wars.
Yeah.
You don't think of kids like in the army, just thrown into war.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So they're becoming casualties of war.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what's happened a lot. I personally, it's their money. They're doing what they want with it. I personally don't believe that a factory produces stars. I don't believe a factory produces entertainment.
Yeah.
There's not a factory for great actors.
Yeah.
They'll go to a school or something, but they learn, and it's something that is driven. They find it. Every now and then they may be found, but singers, it's the same thing. Like Book has always said, wrestling don't find you, you find it.
Yeah.
It's something that you have to want more than anything.
Yeah.
And we have seen by recent, all these guys that come through, they don't last 2 years.
Yeah.
They're in and out.
Yeah.
The main stars come off the indies.
Yeah.
Guys who have been busting their butt, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, all these other guys that are there, and that's just to name a couple, have made it. They've went through the developmental, but that was fine-tuning.
Yeah.
And I think, personally, that's what developmental should be. If you can grab a guy that's young, that has the look, have the tenacity and everything, and you can shape him into what you want, great.
Yeah.
You're not going to find that many.
Yeah.
You'll find some guys that you can put out there and you can spend millions of dollars on, and then to figure out only that he don't got it.
Yeah.
He don't want it bad enough.
Yeah.
Or you can take guys who are giving their blood, sweat, and tears, sacrificing meals, sacrificing clothes, sacrificing relationships, and everything to get up there and do what they want to do. You can take those guys. You can invest not even millions into those guys.
No.
And their return will be higher than the investment that you put on this guy that don't even want it.
Yeah. Yeah.
These guys, and the fans will connect with them. Why? Because they were somebody just like them that climbed up from the muck, climbed out of that pit, and made it. And people can live vicariously through them, as versus to a factory that's just cranking out drones.
Yeah.
Tell me in one instance where that has ever worked. I don't know one.
No, I can't think of, like, on the WWE level.
Just on any level.
Yeah, no, I don't. No.
Only thing it works with is cars.
Yeah.
And then they do a bunch of recalls on them.
As far as, like, talent that wants to be part of reality wrestling, we've had guys that come in. I've talked to Kevin. I've talked to Justin. I've asked Justin because, again, he films it. He's got to edit it. What does he see? What advice would you give to anyone who wanted to become a part of reality wrestling and would be able to? I mean, what are some of the pratfalls that guys that are on the indies when they come to reality wrestling where, because again, book constantly tells us, don't look at it as an indie. And we all don't look at it as an indie. It's a television show. We're producing television. It's weekly, so on and so forth. A lot of guys who are on the indies who probably have a history of, you know as well as I do, you go to any indie show, they'll tell you you're great, you're awesome, phenomenal. Come to books and it's, you're doing it wrong. What advice would you give guys or gals? I mean, anyone who...
We need more hot women. Please come. It's not a sexist thing. It's the real thing.
Yeah. Women sell tickets. They sell tickets.
You do. Yeah. You do. What I would tell them is come to the school. Mm-hmm. Come to the school and give it a shot. Talk the book. Give it a shot at learning it the proper way. Mm-hmm. If you feel that you're good enough, book will give you a tryout. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you can go from there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But if you're wondering about it, I say come to the school, become a part of the school, and put your all into it. Yeah. Do not look at this as an indie show. Yeah. Remember, Book is on WWE. So he has that mindset. Yeah. And he has a great vision for reality of wrestling. Mm. And I think in order for anybody to be a part of reality of wrestling, they have to have a vision as well. Yeah. And that vision has to be bigger than going out there and putting on an indie show. Yeah. I want to get out there, I want to get my stuff in, and no, you're becoming a part of a machine. Yeah. Or part of a body. Yeah. And everybody has a role to play. Your fingers have a role to play. Your eyes have a role to play. And being a part of a body, when everything works in unison, is beautiful. It's magic. Yeah. It's powerful. Mm-hmm. It's unstoppable. Yeah. But just like a little kid, you have to learn how to use everything. Mm-hmm. And if you've been stumbling around, or if you feel that you know how to use everything, come and be a part, but do it the right way. You only get one chance to make a first impression. That's true. And so I say become part of the school. Yeah. That's a way where you will definitely learn how to do it the right way. Yeah. And if you're good enough, then, you won't even have to be a part of the school in the sense of paying tuition. Yeah. But you can be a part of the school as in, just paying like a membership fee, a training fee, a gym fee, and able to get some of the knowledge there, which you probably don't need that much. Just a little, fine tuning. That's about it. But never think you know it all, because you don't. Yeah. You don't. Even the people at WWE don't know it all. That's true. They will tell you. The honest ones will. So, reality wrestling, pay-per-view, July 26th. And Abel Andrew Jackson has something. You're going to have something special. We're not even going to talk about it. How everyone within reality wrestling, we're all like, it is the biggest show. We've said it before about other shows. I mean, there have been shows where it's like, oh, it's really make or break, or the first television taping, or the first Soul of the South television taping, all those, the pay-per-view. Like, what's the atmosphere? Because you're there all the time. What's the atmosphere like in the training center of the guys like Kevin and them? What's the atmosphere like? How the atmosphere right now is it's so thick. You can cut it with a knife. Yeah. Everybody's excited, nervously excited. Yeah. I think that's a good way.
Yeah. No,
it's nerve-wracking, but it's like wanting to get in the ring and get punched so you can get it over with.
Yeah. That first contact. Yeah.
That first contact, I think, is so exciting. I'm so excited about it. I got butterflies.
Yeah.
And I don't get butterflies. I'm used to being in front of thousands of people all the time.
Yeah.
But I literally have butterflies. And those butterflies are going to turn into adrenaline.
Yeah.
You know.
Cool, man.
And I'm just ready for the machine, the war machine, to just get going. I think everybody is nervously excited.
Yeah.
I mean, you walk through and you just not to steal the phrase or the word, it's electric. Yeah. You can feel sparks popping off. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. Everybody's really, really nervous. Yeah. Really excited. Yeah. I'm more excited than anything. Mm-hmm. I'm ready to just get in there. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm just, it's like, yeah, waiting for that. I'm just, waiting for that. Like I love, and it's one of my biggest problems, bread. Oh my God. I love bread. I love bread. So like, it's like getting those honey butter croissants. Yeah. You know which ones I'm talking about? Yeah. As soon as they come out the oven and they get there, you can see like a little steam coming off of them. It's like, yeah, just drop them and leave. Just leave. Let me get it. Yeah. Or you get in your first car. Yeah. And you just sitting behind it. You want to go wash it even though it's clean already, you know. You want to go drive, you want to get the radio, you just want to go somewhere. It's like just your first. Your first is always beautiful. Mm-hmm. You always remember it, regardless if it's screwed up or if it's perfect. Yeah, true. You always anticipated that first. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what it is. It's just that first kiss, that first everything. Mm-hmm. Your heart is pounding. Yeah. You're excited. It's the rush. And everybody, this is not a plug to come to the show. It's not. But I tell everybody to come for a couple of reasons. One, to be a part of history. It is a part of it. We will make history. Trying to bring back Paul Bosch's legacy. Booker's doing a great job. We will make history. That's one. Two, you want to be a part of Reality of Wrestling. If you're part of wrestling, period, come and support your brothers and sisters in it and see where you can be. See if you want to be a part of it. And three, it's going to be a great night of excitement, entertainment, family, friends. A lot of knots and blood, too. I know some people are going to be getting whopped, man. I know some people are going to be getting whopped. Yeah. Like a couple teeth were lost at the last one. And
oh, God, that's right. There was,
oh my God.
Stitches.
Yeah, stitches.
And broken teeth.
I know I'm going to go all out. Yeah. May get in trouble for it, but hey, they say life is meant to be lived out loud. Yeah. Carpe diem. Yeah. Seize the moment. Mm-hmm. Live without regret. Yeah. The ancient Chinese hibiscus. Mm-hmm. Live every day as if it was your last. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm about to start doing right now. Nice. Seizing the moment, just stepping out on faith, putting God first. Mm-hmm. I know some of you saying, don't bring your God up to me. But putting God first and just living. Yeah. And I'm gonna stop being so worried. I'm gonna stop tiptoeing, and I'm gonna start running. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Well, cool, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, man.
No, man. I had a blast.
It was cool? Yeah. Oh, it was awesome, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks again, dude.
Thank you. Thank you. I haven't had a chance to like get all that off my chest.
No, man. I was